I am Brandis Friedman, anchor of WTTW's Chicago Tonight. You can clap for that, it's okay. There you go, thank you. The CEO is in the room, so she'll appreciate that. And I want to thank the Civic Federation for inviting me to join you all. And I'd also like to quickly note that if you haven't started already, please feel free to go ahead and enjoy your salad. Stand by. There I am. And of course, a plated lunch will be served in about 10 minutes. I also wanted to start by extending a huge congratulations to the Stain sisters. I saw all three of them come in. Heather, Jennifer, Robin, and of course to Clayco for being honored today. Civic engagement is the fuel that keeps our city and region evolving towards its greatest potential. The Civic Federation, through its membership base of civic-minded leaders and its dedication to government accountability and effectiveness, has a storied history of challenging our public sector leaders to do their very best work. At Chicago Tonight, we are charged with a very similar mission of examination and analysis with the best interests of the public at heart. And we do this work because it is our passion and because it is, of course, vital. I want to congratulate the Civic Federation on its 130th anniversary. It's an incredible, yep, there you go. It's an incredible milestone that coincides with a significant leadership change for the organization. We've been pleased to welcome Joe Ferguson onto Chicago Tonight twice since he was named the Federation's new president in December 2023. Don't worry, Joe, there will be more. His long history of public service makes him someone with no shortage of insights and vision when it comes to government and how we can make our city and state better. The challenges of today are what keep so many of us striving to make a difference in our communities, in our respective fields, day in and day out. As a journalist, of course, my priorities are to give voice to stories that many of you may not otherwise hear. This week, for example, we aired a story about queer country music. Happy Pride, y'all. Like, who knew that that was a thing? But it is. But we also aired another story this week about a man who died while incarcerated at Stateville, months after graduating with a degree from Northwestern University. So it's also important that we give our audience complete pictures of the issues so that they can create well-informed opinions and decisions. And I don't have to tell the folks in this room how important it is to be able to do that, not only during an election year, but any time of year. In whatever ways you personally serve and give back, I want to thank you for your engagement. I've heard from several of you who are viewers of our program, so thank you for that as well. But that also includes being here with us today to celebrate those honorees who are the definition of civic leadership and to show us all what is possible. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Civic Federation President Joe Ferguson.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Civic Federation's 2024 Annual Civic Awards. As Brandis just said, and I do what Brandis says, I'm Joe Ferguson, President of the Civic Federation. It's really wonderful to have you here with us today. I want to start with a few acknowledgments. First, a special thank you to our 5 fantastic luncheon co-chairs, Lester Crown, Adam Hoflick, Dory McWhorter, Michael Sachs, and Maurice Smith for their civic leadership and generous support of today's event. Second, thanks to each of you, our friends, stakeholders, thought partners, and sponsors for your support of the Civic Federation as we look ahead to the future and all the important work to come. We simply could not do this work without you. Third, and you can all give yourself a round of applause. Third, an extra special note of thanks goes to our legacy sponsors, the Crown family, GCM Grosvenor, and the Staines family, our honorees today, for their tremendous generosity and investment in all we aim to achieve. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, As today we gather to celebrate civic leadership, I'd like to recognize two Chicago civic leaders we lost in recent days. Renowned philanthropist Ann Lurie and Cook County Commissioner Dennis Deere. We all are indebted to their contributions to Chicago's civic landscape and life, and we extend our sincere condolences to their friends, colleagues, and loved ones. Let us take a moment of silence to remember them and their contributions to us. Thank you. So, we honor the legacy of those who have been before us and those who we've recently lost by leaning into the present for the sake of a better future. 5 months into my new job at the Civic Federation, I have one definitive takeaway. It takes about 5 months to be oriented at a 130-year-old institution. And while I have always admired and knew Lawrence Massall, I know more than ever how much of a generational leader he was and how much of an honor it is to pick up the baton he left to all of us and to run the next leg of the race to elevate this city, region, and state to its potential. So I want to take a moment to speak to that baton Lawrence left us. It is, at its core, the Civic Federation's board and staff. The staff, and I'd like to ask the staff, and it's not on script, folks, I'm sorry, to stand up. They're scattered about the room. The staff works tirelessly, and I've come to look upon them as a small band of nonprofit civic warriors. After only 5 months together, I respect them more than ever, and with your support, I hope to validate their efforts and leverage the Federation's core competencies and expertise to its greatest impact. If Lawrence was the special sauce of the Federation, the passionately civic-minded board that he built is the embodiment of the intangibles that we lost with him. I feel incredibly honored to be joined with so extraordinary a group of individuals who make this organization what it is today and what it will yet become. All that said, we must recognize that in today's swiftly changing, turbulent world, standing in place is falling behind. So to help maintain the Civic Federation's reputation and position as a leading voice on fiscal policy and practices and the delivery of government services, we've initiated a strategic planning process, the first in over a decade. And we need input from all of you, our members, our partners, our stakeholders, to help calibrate our focus and grow our impact with an understanding of how we are seen and understood, how well we work, and where and how we might make greater impact moving forward. To serve that end, you will find a QR code on your tables and in our slideshow that will take you to the Civic Federation Engagement Survey. Your responses will provide us with critical feedback on the Federation's needs and opportunities. Additionally, as part of what this is all about, please consider making a donation by scanning the QR code at your table. Another QR code is at your table to view the digital program. Even as the embodiment of Lawrence's spirit, the board requires leadership. In my short tenure, I've been blessed to have the benefit and support and thought partnership of Civic Federation Board Chair Jill Wolowitz. Jill is Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer of Healthcare Services Organization, overseeing teams responsible for, this will take a second, ethics, compliance, privacy, human resources, audit, corporate communications, and corporate and civic partnerships. And somehow, in spite of all of that she carries day in and day out with her day job, she has time for this, for us, for you. It's not work if you're joined in the right thing, for the right reasons, with the right people. 5 months in, I know that I am. I know that we all are. Please join me in welcoming Civic Federation Board Chair Jill Wolowitz.
Joe, thank you for your very kind introduction and thoughtful remarks. And thank you today to all the members and guests for joining us on this beautiful Chicago afternoon as we honor the extraordinary civic leadership of 3 individuals, Heather, Jennifer, and Robin Staines, and an outstanding company, Clayco. For 130 years, the Civic Federation has relied on our members' sound leadership to help steer us, representing leading institutions of both private and nonprofit sectors. They bring valuable insights, expertise to the challenges our governments face. And above all, our members remain committed to positively impacting our city and state and to helping our governments succeed. Over the past year, the Civic Federation has remained a premier resource for government entities, the media, business and civic leaders, and the public. Federation staff have remained committed to core policy areas that include pension reform, property tax, best government practices, as well as transparency and openness. A full listing of all of our members is available at civicfederation.org, as are copies of all of our reports and research. If you or someone at your organization is not yet involved in the work of the Civic Federation, please contact Civic Fed President Joe Ferguson, Development Director Jay Hobart, or myself, and we'll be happy to get you engaged. The Civic Federation remains committed as ever to its belief in government as a force for good in our communities. It remains devoted to its mission of advancing sound government policy locally and across the state of Illinois for the benefit of us all. While our members and staff work hard to provide detailed analyses and actionable recommendations for our state and local governments, our research would not have the impact it does without the collaboration and support of so many friends and colleagues serving in government. We are so pleased to have many of them with us today. At this time, I would like to recognize the dignitaries and public officials present. We have from the state of Illinois, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, Illinois State Treasurer Michael Frericks, President of the Cook County Board of Commissioners Tony Preckwinkle, from the City of Chicago, Commissioner of Department of Planning and Development Sierra Boatwright, we have Alderpersons Anthony Beal, Bill Conway, and Monique Scott. And from Water Reclamation, we have Commissioner Mariana Sparalpoulos. So thank you so much to our officials. So I am the only thing standing between you and lunch, and I believe Joe mentioned it, but please scan the item you see on your tables for a chance to win. Thank you so much. Enjoy lunch.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's me again. Sorry, you're stuck with me the whole time. But I want you to continue enjoying your lunch. But nice work. Thank you so much. I'm not a teacher, but I've seen them in action, and they have tricks like with clapping and things. Hello again, and I hope all of you have enjoyed your lunch. Named for the founders of the Civic Federation, Lyman J. Gage, Jane Addams, and Bertha Palmer, the annual Civic Awards recognize the exceptional civic engagement of local individuals and institutions. Last year, the Gage Award for Outstanding Civic Contribution was renamed the Gage Masol Award to pay permanent tribute to the memory, achievements, and transformative leadership of the Civic Federation's late, longtime president, Lawrence Masol. This year, we celebrate the first recipients of the renamed Gage Masol Award. I also want to note that introductory remarks for our speakers and honorees will be brief today to accommodate what is a very full and exciting program for you all. Longer bios for all honorees and speakers can be found on the event page of the Civic Federation's website. That page, again, can be accessed via the QR code that you see on your table. Now, please join me as we hear from Governor Pritzker.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to support today's luncheon and especially to congratulate this year's annual Civic Award honorees. I regret that I can't join you today in person to celebrate alongside you all, but I am so excited about the extraordinary work and individuals being recognized this year by the Civic Federation. 130 years of successfully serving the best interests of the city and the state. That's an incredible legacy that all of the supporters in this room and the Federation's team should be very proud of. I especially want to congratulate Heather, Jennifer, and Robin Staines, who are longtime friends. They have also done so much good for us all. Each of them, in their own ways, have been successful and have generously given of themselves to lift up the most vulnerable, to build the solid foundation upon which our city and state succeed. Well, they are each awe-inspiring civic leaders and so deserving of today's award. Their efforts meet critical local needs by helping to expand educational opportunities, economic opportunities, workforce development, and so much more. Each has contributed their time, their talents, and their resources in leadership roles across countless other Chicago area institutions. Thank you all for what you've done. Tonight's second awardee, Clayco, is a rare force of a company that has become so much more than a major success in the construction, architecture, and engineering worlds. Bob Clark, executive chairman and founder, had a vision for this company's future, and 40 years later, we see it all playing out fantastically in real time. Clayco today is a world leader in its industry, recognized for its innovative, human-centered, and sustainable approaches. Bob and Clayco are also among our most important civic leaders that I have personally relied upon for making positive change for all Illinoisans. Illinois is so proud to serve as home base to Clayco and its leadership's deep dedication to diversity and inclusion, to philanthropic work, and to serving those most in need in our communities. Congratulations to the entire Clayco team. These award winners and excellent community leaders make Illinois stronger. Thank you for your years of service. With that, I hope you all enjoy the rest of today's luncheon.
I just realized that I want to apologize for the size of my head for those of you who are watching on the big screens. At this time, we're going to present the Adams Palmer Award for Exemplary Civic Involvement by a Chicago institution. This award will be presented by Douglas Boersma, who's representing the 2023 recipient of the Adams Palmer Award, Wintrust Financial Corporation. Douglas serves as CEO of Wintrust Bank, Wintrust Financial Corporation's largest bank subsidiary. He's also EVP and market head overseeing stay with me, Northbrook Bank and Trust Company, Hinsdale Bank and Trust Company, Beverly Bank and Trust Company, and of course, Wintrust Bank. Please join me in welcoming Douglas Boersma.
Whenever I go to these things, I have to follow somebody like the governor, so at least it was only video. So at lunch, Jill told me it was okay to swear if I wanted to, but I'm gonna try to stay away from that. But good afternoon, everybody. Brandis, thank you for the nice introduction. Thank you to everybody here today. It's great to see so many friends and colleagues in the crowd. I'm also trying to figure out how many people at Wintrust said no to this before it got to me. So today I have the pleasure of presenting the Adams Palmer Award, which represents outstanding civic involvement by, most importantly, a Chicago institution. That Chicago institution is Clayco Corporation, and Kevin McKinnon, president of Clayco, is here to accept the award today. A little bit about Clayco. In its simplest form, Clayco is a turnkey real estate development company. It was founded in 1984 by the executive chairman, Bob Clark, when he was 25 years old. Think about that, 25 years old. Today, 40 years later, Clayco is going to come close to surpassing $6 billion in revenue and has 3,500 employees in the United States. So from a banker's perspective, that's a real machine from a company. We should talk about maybe a client thing after we're done here, Bob. So at the core of Clayco is a deep commitment to charitable programs and civic involvement, obviously. A few examples include Clayco's Construction Career Development Initiative, which brings diversity to their industry by mentoring and providing career development opportunities in construction to minority, underrepresented, and unemployed men and women. Clayco's Juneteenth Fund partners with small and local nonprofit organizations to promote racial equity in challenged communities. Since inception, this group has partnered with 27 organizations with a focus on mentoring children and young adults. Lastly, Clayco's Future Leaders Fellowship Program supports and cultivates leadership diversity in the arts and theater spaces. Locally, in our own backyard here, Clayco has strong relationships with institutions such as Lurie Children's Hospital, Habitat for Humanity, and the Greater Chicago Food Depository, in addition to many, many more. Join me as we hear from both individuals and organizations on a video that have experienced Clayco's dedication to the civic space individually.
When I think of Clayco, they're an organization that doesn't hesitate to bring new ideas forward, that's always thinking about how they can do the next thing.
It's not just about design, build, and development with the Clayco team. It's about impact and really putting your money where their mouth is.
They always ask, how can we help? Clayco was always leaning forward to become part of the civic fabric, part of the civic conversation.
We're not just here to build buildings, we're here to have a lasting impact in the communities in which Clayco does business.
There's a corporate culture that goes across the entire corporation, which is really doing the right thing for its clients, but doing the right thing for the community that it's invested in.
I had always wanted to be an architect or a builder, so I started the company when I was 25. No construction experience at all. I kind of took a fresh approach, trying to solve a customer's problem in a holistic way, and took off. Since the very founding of the company, I've surrounded myself with people that really care about the community. We're bringing kind of an attitude when we come into someone else's town or city or community that we want to leave the place better than we found it.
So much at the core of the company's mission and reason for being beyond these walls, as we call it here at Clayco, to have an impact in the communities where these projects are built beyond the walls of the project itself.
On our best day, Chicago is one of the most diverse, prosperous, creative cities in the world. Some of our toughest days, we are still very segregated. We have neighborhoods with an unemployment rate of north of 20%. So long term, we cannot be a thriving global city without looking at all 77 neighborhoods. And people who know Bob Clark know he's very outspoken about his beliefs and how can we build a better, stronger Chicago and nation.
I met Bob Clark 25 years ago. He is probably the most down-to-earth person, given who he is and the kind of firm that he leads. People who work at Clayco know that if they're going to be a part of this organization, then they better be a part of the community, because it's important to the company, it's important to the culture, it's important to Bob.
When I think back to my time at Clayco, the team was really intentional about really engaging community in an authentic way. We were able to create an initiative called Pillar to address the lack of diversity and create more pathways for inclusion for developers of color to really grow, thrive, and be supported.
It's so important for Clayco to give back to their community because it strengthens their community. We've been grateful to partner with them in order to not only have their generous fundraising support, but also to see them engage in a great opportunity for kids to learn more about how they could pursue jobs in the construction or design or engineering fields. Kids Dig is an event that Clayco has hosted at Lurie Children's. You can see the joy in these kids' faces, many of whom spend a lot of time at the hospital just getting to be a kid and talk to these incredibly generous and kind employees who volunteer their time from Clayco to engage with them and their siblings and parents to learn more about what this world looks like. Congratulations, Clayco, on receiving the Adams Palmer Award. It is so fitting, so deserving, and really highlights how Clayco does give back to the communities in which their employees work and their families live, play, and grow.
Bob and everyone at Clayco, congratulations to today's award. I think it's the recognition of 40 years of intentional and smart work of building America, but also building a more inclusive, prosperous Chicago.
Congratulations to Clayco, congratulations to all the Clayco affiliates, and congratulations to Bob Clark.
Huge congrats to the Clayco team on this well-deserved honor.
Congratulations on receiving the Adams Palmer Award. I'm so proud of all of you.
Thank you to the Civic Federation. Thank you for this award. It's a great honor, and we appreciate it very much. We plan to walk the walk.
Really a great story for a privately held local business. So with that, I'd like to present the 2024 Adams Palmer Award to Clayco Corporation on behalf of President Kevin McKenna.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, Doug, if we're going to talk banking, our bankers are here, so we're going to wait till after we talk. Is that okay? Second of all, to everyone who put that video together, you work with people day in and day out, and you hope they understand the vision of the business. But to hear it like that is just heartwarming. So thank you, everyone, for that, those nice words that you mentioned there. Clayco, as it's been stated, is a design-build business, which means it's an integrated platform. So we are developers. We go out and build buildings. We're architects and engineers, landscape engineers, builders, concrete company, glazing companies. And what that allows us to do is take that platform and go into communities all over the country and here in Chicago, and use that platform to engage the community, because they're the ones who are going to be using the buildings. They're the ones who we want to build the buildings. So some of the things we do is, before we get into those communities, we go and engage them and say, you know, who wants to be part of this process? Who wants to be in the union? Who wants to come work here? And so we bring them in, and we help them get involved in those companies. We have a business called CCDI, part of our business, I should say, that works with these communities to get people into the unions. If someone wants to be a plumber, they can get in and be a plumber. If someone wants to be a carpenter, electrician. And we engage them before we go in. And that's part of the culture that's being talked about on the screen here, is that, you know, we're going to do more than just be the builder. We're going to be the community advocate. And then we're going to instill pride in that process, because if they're part of that process, these communities, then, you know, they're going to say, I built that building. I built that building that's a community center. I built that building that's an industrial building where people work. I built that building that's a school or a hospital. So the sense of pride that comes with that is really what we try to instill. And then, you know, I talked about the Kids Dig, which is my event. I love it. It's just working with children that, you know, need a lift up, that want to do something fun. And what's more fun than going out on a construction site and actually running a big piece of equipment? And if you want to see it, we're going to do it again in October, and everybody's more than welcome to come. But you see these children that have been stuck in a hospital get out there and climb on a big piece of equipment and actually run it. Now the union workers sitting there, they're sitting in their laps, but the smiles on their faces and the smiles on the parents' faces are only superseded by the construction people that are helping them. And I think that is Chicago. I mean, the construction industry is a very great industry that constantly gives back to our community. And you see it all over the place. So I thought that was a great story to share with everyone. We are thrilled to receive the Adams Palmer Award, and thank you to the Civil Federation. Bob wanted to be here. He could not be here, so I got to step in for him. Thank you very much for everything. Really appreciate it.
It's me again. And congratulations again to Clayco and Kevin McKenna. I think you can clap again for that. So now I want to turn our attention to the newly renamed 2024 Gage Masal Award for Outstanding Civic Contribution by Chicagoans. Our presenter is the 2023 recipient, Richard Price. Richard serves as executive chairman of Mesereau. That's an independent, employee-owned financial services firm founded in 1937. Please join me in welcoming Richard Price.
Thank you, everyone. Before I get to my formal remarks, I just want to make a comment or two, and that is that I don't think the Civic Federation has been more important and more relevant to the city of Chicago than it is right now. So I certainly want to thank all the business leaders that are here today, the business people that are here today, and thank my executive team from Mesereau, who is in attendance today to support the Civic Federation, including Natalie Brown, our CEO. So thank you, Natalie. The other thing I just want to acknowledge is I don't think I've worn a tie since I got this award a year ago. So I didn't have to go far to find them in my closet. They're all kind of in the same place. And I also went back and did a little bit of homework, and I found that I have received 1,257 selfies by Donovan Pepper, our famous Donovan, since a year ago, so I'm sure you're all sharing with that. So thank you, Donovan. We love your travels, and we love your connectivity, and we love the work you do in our community, so thank you. So it's a great pleasure to be here with everybody today. I'm honored to present the 2024 Gage Masal Award to Heather, Jennifer, and Robin Staines. They're an amazing family, and certainly beyond, I think, deserving of this award. The dedication that they have to public service is deeply rooted as a matter of family history, amplified through the Staines Family Foundation, which was originally founded and led by the sisters' parents, Harrison and Lois. And people that knew Harrison and Lois, they were a gift to our community, and I think that they did an amazing job of making sure that the family continued in their footsteps in their engagement in our world, which is really important. So I think a lot of you will remember that Harrison himself was the 2013 recipient of the Lyman Gage Award from the Civic Federation. And today, Heather Staines leads the foundation as its president, supported by her sisters Jennifer and Robin as trustees. At its founding almost 40 years ago, the foundation's work today centers on investing in and revitalizing the communities of North Lawndale and North Chicago. but their civic engagement reaches so much further. Heather represented the Illinois 7th District in the State Senate from 2008 to 2021. Her many achievements in office included a bevy of complicated, high-impact legislative initiatives, such as legally recognizing same-sex marriage in Illinois, reforms to the Illinois Medicaid program, the legalization of adult-use cannabis, and reducing mercury waste. She's a past... Absolutely. I would say collectively they deserve a lot of reward or a lot of acknowledgement during this conversation, so thank you for that. She's also the past recipient of AARP's Legislator of the Year Award, the Equality Illinois Freedom Award, Planned Parenthood's Richard Phelan Profile and Courage Award, and Triology's Legislative Recovery Award. So just amazing. Jennifer, who by day is president and CEO of their private asset management firm, Financial Investments Corporation, has a boundless record of civic engagement and leadership that includes serving on the leadership roles of the boards of Navy Pier, from where I know her quite well, the Ravinia Festival, again from where I know her quite well as the board service at the Commercial Club of Chicago, DePaul University, Phoenix PAC, Rush University Medical Center, World Business Chicago, and the YWCA of Evanston North Shore, and of course the Civic Federation. Robin currently serves as the president of Advance Illinois, an independent policy and advocacy organization that works to improve public education so students are prepared to succeed in college, in their careers, and in civic life, and what could be more important than that? Among its many achievements for Illinois students, Advance Illinois played a vital role in the passage of Illinois evidence-based funding formula for PK-12 education in 2017. Obviously a very important thing to do. That overhauled Illinois' education funding system and advanced equity and by better identifying and prioritizing the state's least well-funded districts as well as student needs. Robin helped found North Lawndale College Preparatory Charter High School, where today she serves as a director. She also serves as the trustee of the University of Chicago Medical Center and as a co-founder and past board chair of the University of Chicago's Celiac Disease Center. Obviously something that's very, very important. The collective efforts and expertise of Heather, Jennifer, and Robin Steens touch countless areas of civic and business life in the Chicagoland area, and the number of individuals whose futures are brighter because of the Steens Family Foundation dedication to service is truly innumerable. As lengthy as these remarkable women's list of achievements is, it only scratches the surface of what today's honoree and their family means to the life of the city. Because unmentioned were the literally countless hours of time that Heather, Jennifer, and Robin spent guiding, supporting, counseling, commiserating with, and cheering on the people and organizations that make Chicago what it is today. As many here know, they will all drop what they're doing to answer those calls. We now turn our attention to a tribute video honoring Heather, Jennifer, and Robin, and hear from some of those whose lives and work they have touched. Play the video.
The Steens family has philanthropy in their DNA. It's because they really feel compelled to help others.
When I think of the Steens sisters, I think of people who act boldly, who are optimistic, yet very pragmatic.
Together, they have made such dramatic impact on so many lives, something that is truly inspirational to all of us.
They are emblematic of what a true civic leader in Chicago is, who is both successful in business, successful in their civic causes, but also always thinking about how can I make the city better.
I met Robin first, and I have known her as just this incredible champion for equity and education ever since. I then met Heather when she joined our board. And then I met Jennifer through Heather and Robin. The Steens family and the sisters in particular, I think, are really seen as bold philanthropists as people who are leading the charge when it comes to investing in communities and community leaders.
I have the pleasure of meeting the sisters. And it was through the Staines Family Foundation that the North Lawndale Employment Network was established. They decided that they would focus on a particular neighborhood and go in deep, rather than giving lots of grants across the city, but to really invest their assets into a particular neighborhood. Without that kind of steadfast, consistent, enduring support from the Staines Family Foundation, that we wouldn't be sitting in this beautiful organization today.
All three of the sisters, Jennifer, Heather, and Robin, share humility, but also commitment to others. They are so tenacious, and there's just this incredible warmth about them.
Robin is funny and really good-natured.
I know Heather the most. Heather and I, our paths cross a lot because of her role as a senator, because of her role as a mom. I just think that there's such beautiful people that are human.
Jennifer, I would say, is a force of nature. She has a passion and a commitment for Chicago, but also for equity and inclusion. We couldn't do what we do at the Civic Committee without their engagement, without their support and involvement. Their father was a legend, a civic leader among the giants in Chicago, and was honored as such in 2013 when he won this award. The fact that the three of them are winning it 11 years later suggests they are also giants in the civic landscape in Chicago and are very well deserving, and I think both their parents would be extremely proud to see how they've carried on that legacy and advanced the work of the Staines family. The legacy of them, their family, will live for many, many generations to come.
Congratulations, Jennifer, Heather, and Robin, on being honored with the 2024 Gage Masal Award.
Congratulations for this well-deserved recognition. Thank you for everything you do for our city.
Congratulations to Heather, Robin, and Jennifer on winning this award at the Civic Federation. We're all indebted to your commitment and contributions to the city, and I look forward to working with you and partnering with you in many years to come.
Heather, Jennifer, and Robin, congratulations from the North Lawndale Employment Network, from our community, and from me.
So, Thank you. I want to add my thanks, because I think a thanks is a big thing that we need to do, and to congratulations
We're going to get us all out of here.
Just be glad they didn't read Heather's all of her awards. Still be here. One more round of applause, please, for both Richard Price and the Staines sisters. I keep one, every time I say the Staines sisters, I feel like I have to say, the sister Staines, and the three of you are going to show up and start singing.
We'll do that. Promise not.
Is yours working okay, Jennifer?
It's working fine.
Just
And
wanna
we
be sure.
really know we stand between you and getting out of here, so we're going to go quick, people.
And anyone who's had a conversation with the three of them knows they've got lots to say and they can say it quickly, so keep up. But first, congratulations. And I wanted to start with something that I learned about in the couple of hours that I've been here. I hear the three of you are kind of good with laundry.
Thank you so much for asking. Does anybody have a few tons of laundry that they would like to do? Because there is a great new laundry center at Fillmore
Stain
Linen
Sisters,
Center.
they do so much, and laundry. Jennifer, I'm going to let you start, please.
Yesterday actually was a huge day. We have a commercial laundry operation that's going to be serving hopefully every Chicagoland hospital. Lurie's, who's here today, was the second contract. Rush was the first. Thank you, Rush and Lurie's Hospital. And with this new development, we'll be hopefully hiring 200 people from the North Lawndale community to work at this facility. It's a very exciting day.
So it's an honor to be sharing the stage with Clayco, and we hope to get to the 3,500 jobs that you guys have created. It may take us a little while, but that would be a goal.
So while we're on it, right, and while we're on, remind me, sorry, the name of the laundry facility.
Fillmore Linen Service.
Okay, for those of you who need to know. Tell me a little bit about that process and, you know, how you all were involved with making it happen and the importance of it.
So, we as the foundation had really started doing a lot of work in the education space. After our father's passing and the foundation assets grew, we really expanded to doing a lot more, wanting to do investment in the neighborhood, knowing that we need to have jobs, job creation, and that you actually need physical investment in the neighborhoods. Jim, one of Jennifer's husbands, Jim, spotted this building and said we should buy this big manufacturing building. And we did. This is the first anchor business in it, is the de novo laundry service. We knew that there was no laundry. It had been an idea that Westside Hospital Association already had, was to create a laundry service. So the hospitals and the Westside group really did help make it happen with us. And we brought in an operator that we learned had done this in Cleveland, Ohio, to then really make it reality. There's another part of the building where we're going to be adding additional businesses. We want to get up to at least 300 jobs in the overall business. And then another key piece, thank you, Andrea, for your nice comments on there. We were working with the Chicago Community Trust to then have this whole building ultimately be owned by the community into a community benefit trust structure, so that 7 or 8 years down the road, the actual whole building will benefit and be owned by the neighborhood, and they can reinvest the profits from it back into other economic development projects in the neighborhood.
Because to my understanding, the hospitals within the medical district, and I learn something new every day, so I want to thank you, Brenda and gang, for telling me about this earlier. The hospitals had been sending their laundry out of state.
Wisconsin.
To Wisconsin to be laundered. And so now they can just do it down the street. Yep. Go team. Okay. So while we're on it then, I guess, and we're going to come back around, it's all going to make sense, but I don't want to move away from North Lawndale. Tell me a little bit, if you would, about sort of the importance of the work that you all have been doing there. Who wants to go first? They're pointing at you, Robin.
Okay. I think one of the things that's been such a pleasure about this, and first of all, it was unfair to do that part about mom and dad at the end. I think all of us are feeling emotional, and we carry them with us very much every day. And I know one thing for sure, that if Dad were here, he'd want me to ask the Staines Foundation team to please stand, because everything that we do is done through and with.
And I'm going to be so bold as to add the other side of the team, because now what's so cool is the for-profit side is working with the nonprofit side on getting this going. So thanks to everybody on both sides of the house. It's really cool. And one of the things we always say, we have the for-profit, the public sector, and the nonprofit coming together, and you need all three sectors coming together to make this stuff happen. So
Which we
thanks
try
to
to
all
live.
sides.
Jennifer, private sector; Heather, public sector; me, nonprofit sector. But the work, so we have been partnering with the North Lawndale community for 30 plus years now, and I think one of the reasons it's been such a joy is that it's been really a partnership, and that you're there for the long haul. We made it clear from the beginning we're going to be here from the long haul. Though why anybody would trust us, I don't know, but you build that over time. And I think what has made, if anything that we've done has been successful, it's because there's people on the ground in North Lawndale that are championing it, that think that it's important, and that are doing the work, and our job is to support. How do you create more wind, more resources? We may have access to resources or relationships that others don't, and how do you bridge those gaps? But the real work, the hard work, is happening on the ground on a day-to-day basis. And I think
if we get any credit for doing that, that too came from the team. You know, our founding executive director was just very clear from the outset. You may think you know stuff and you don't, and what you got to do is listen and learn and partner. And we've been trying to do that, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And again, it doesn't happen without the team. What would you add?
What she said. And similarly, North Chicago is also a place that's important to you all. Tell me why.
This is an area too, you know, we grew up in Lake County. That is a district there. There was a lot of work going on in the school district there. Change. It was one of two in the state of Illinois that was going under financial receivership. They were putting in a new head of the school district there, John Price, who's been phenomenal. And, you know, it's close to home, and there's huge needs in North Chicago as well. I don't think people necessarily understand that. So they're really working with the school district on a long-term basis. Evan Westerfield's been our leader there, doing a phenomenal job, and the whole North Chicago team has really just become a real thought partner with the school district and with others that live there in a way that's been very meaningfully advancing the work of educating kids.
The three of you have mentioned it, how each of you has, you know, taken your own lane, right? But you've got it all covered between the three of you, right? With public sector, nonprofit, and private sector. I guess, how do the three of you sort of work together, obviously with the support of your team, but how do you work together to sort of like be sort of the force multiplier, right? Like, where do those three lanes all converge?
We all care about the same things. I will just say it's so much fun. It goes back to, you know, our dads and mom are with us every single day. They really are. They were with us yesterday, and I just get to go through life with my two closest friends, getting to try to have an impact to the city that we all adore. And I will say we don't even have to communicate. We've worked with each other so well. We kind of know our lanes. We know when we should overlap our lanes. And it really all melds together because you need all our skill sets and all of our team skill sets and all of the skill sets really in this room to accomplish anything, as we all know. So it's just been a gift, I would say, to get the privilege of getting to work with my two sisters throughout this.
I love that when one of them answers a question, the other two are like, yep, what she said. Yep. Like, there's no need to add any more because it's almost as if, like you said, you kind of share thoughts sometimes, even though you're in different places. You've mentioned your parents a couple of times. And I'm always curious about, you know, a family like that is, you know, as accomplished and still civically minded as, you know, the parents who raised you are, and then still they produced the three of you and all of you do what you do. Where does that come from? And what was that like growing up in your house? You often hear like political families like, oh, every night at the dinner table we talked about politics or whatever. Where does all that come from for the three of you?
I do think that you do absorb around the dinner table, and there's no question that our parents lived and breathed look, we've had every possible advantage. We've had wonderful education, we've had a loving, stable family, and we have had no financial worries. But they made it very clear that that is a gift and that is a privilege, and the challenge is, what are you going to go do with that? And how are you going to give back, and how are you going to contribute, and how are you going to put the talents that you're able to develop with that to use? And they talked it. It was their own volunteer efforts. It was the own decisions they made personally. It was always thinking more systemically and strategically. And they lived, eat, breathed, radiated it, and so do we. I don't think it would occur to us, as did loving Chicago and loving the neighborhoods of Chicago, and really wanting to see this great city continue to thrive. So I don't know what to really add other than that they lived, eat, every possible way they communicated it.
And we've got three core family values: work ethic, stewardship, and social responsibility, that started with our great-grandfather that got carried down. So to Robin's point, it's kind of central to our upbringing and everything we get to do together.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, you know, we all know that we came from incredible privilege. We just did. And with that comes, you know, no one can really understand their privilege, but we know we have it. And my parents also very much lived the values that Jennifer's talking about, but it's really not about what you do for yourselves, it's about what you do for others. They just lived and breathed that. So, you know, I think we're really lucky that we've had the place of privilege that we can then really focus on what is it we want to try to accomplish elsewhere. You've got partners in North Lawndale and North Chicago that are a joy to work with every day, and with their teams at the foundation doing that, it's just really been another privilege.
The only other thing I'll say is the thing I think all of us are awkward with sitting up here is this is a room full of people who do that. We know that there are so many people in this room that are giving on a regular basis and that are, every bit as much. So it's a little wrong for us to be up here.
Almost like preaching to the choir.
Thanks to
all
of you. I agree. Thanks to everybody here.
While we're on it, right? Like we know who's in this room. But let's talk a little bit about, sort of going back to the work that you all are doing, North Lawndale, for example, and I think we were chatting about this a little bit, Heather, just sort of also the responsibility of private sector in, civic engagement and community building and the work that you all do.
Yeah, thank you, Clayco. Seriously. I think that is one of the things we've seen in neighborhoods is the underinvestment. I mean, Lawndale it had been at a peak of population of 140,000 people. It got down to, it's under 40,000. Just the amount of vacant land that is there is just heartbreaking. You can't have nonprofits and philanthropy do it by themselves. You need to have private sector investment in these neighborhoods. So we really are trying to just say we can be the risk capital, try to make it easier for and we really hope other private sector companies can come in and start helping to rebuild these neighborhoods. And we're seeing that happening all over the place, and thrilled that Derek and Civic Committee are taking leadership roles on that.
That's what I was just going to add. So Derek, thank you. I haven't seen you if you're here today. I think the Civic Committee and all the companies around Chicago have a big part to add. There's a huge objective out there to get 20,000 new jobs in the South and West Side. We want to do our part and have a very specific goal of trying to get 4,100 new jobs in North Lawndale over the next 10 years, because that's what it's going to take to solve the unemployment problem in North Lawndale.
Before we let you go, a couple other things, what are some of the priorities that each of you are working on right now, and priorities that maybe you think are being going unaddressed? Robin, you've got that look.
Well, so in my day job, I work on education policy and advocacy, and I appreciate the mention of the school funding formula, because what we want is for structures to work for equity, and too frequently they are working against it, and then you're constantly fighting and pushing uphill. So I'm very excited that there are some really important things going on both in the early childhood and in higher education to address some of those structural issues. Just this week, we signed into law the creation of a standalone early childhood agency, which is not an end in and of itself, but that brings together the work from across 3 agencies and allows us to be much more equitable, strategic, and effective for both families and providers. So it's going to be what we make of it. Work's not done. And then in higher education, the way we fund is deeply inequitable, and dollars are not going where they're needed most. There is now a real plan on the table. It's going to be a fight to get it done, but there's going to be a bill filed in the next few weeks. So I'm very excited about the fact that by passing that school funding formula, the same thing that I felt at the Fillmore Linen Service opening yesterday, which is, well, what are we going to do next? Like, we did that. That was hard. What are we going to do next? And we're setting up to do exactly that. So that's what's on my mind.
You'll call me.
I would just say I'm going to quote the Chicago Community Trust mission, closing the racial and ethnic wealth gap. Thank you, Andrea, and the leadership there at the Community Trust. Brian Traubert, I know, is here. I think that we really need to keep working, and that's an all hands on deck. I think the We Foundation are trying to do a piece of that in Lawndale, and we all need to be rowing together on that. And I really thank the Community Trust for taking such leadership on that.
Nothing to add, because to me the racial wealth gap is one of the key issues of our times, and here in Chicago we all have a role to play in fixing it. So Derek, I'm committed to the 20,000 jobs on the South and West Side and doing our bit to help you get there.
And last thing, sort of a call to action. Obviously, like we've discussed, right? This is a room of folks who are doing the work as well, but what would you like to see the rest of us pick up?
Ask us to help you get a business going in North Lawndale, and we'll be there to help any way we can.
Everybody you know in a swing state, could you call them, make sure they're voting, make sure they get out? I'm a little terrified to even watch the debate tonight, but I can't even laugh about it, like what could happen at that level and how it's going to play out. So I don't know what you're all doing about it, but I hope you're doing something, because that's gonna change the game in so many ways for good or for ill.
No last word for Heather. All right. Please help me to thank the Sister Stains, everybody, who will not be singing. so much. Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Of course. Thanks so much. Of course. Oh, are we taking anything?